High above the rugged cliffs and sweeping plains, an avian marvel commands the skies with unparalleled grace and precision. This is the wild fucking falcon, a master of the air, whose prowess and agility are the envy of the animal kingdom. As we watch, the falcon begins circling its prey. That's Mr. Big Dick Para Senpai, gamer of games. Its dive bomb, known as a stoop, is a marvel of aerodynamics and evolutionary engineering. The falcon tucks its wings close to its body, reducing drag and allowing it to slice through the air with incredible speed and accuracy, with power only secondary to that of nuclear warheads. And so, as we leave this majestic bird to its domain, we are reminded of the extraordinary beauty and complexity of the natural world, where each creature, from the tiniest shit newbie to the mightiest of gamers, plays a vital role in the intricate tapestry of life. And in this video, the latter is going to take you through the entirety of the most majestic of builds, the Dive Bomb Falconer build. Starting out, who is this build for? It's for you, obviously, and anyone that wants to play something completely broken. Albeit receiving massive nerfs from previous cycle, I'd say this build is just fine. Don't believe me? All right, let's roll the clip of what Dive Bomb was doing before the patch. Oh shit, wrong video. Yeah, that's the one. That's a Chinese fella nuking a 4,000 corruption boss with one dive bomb. Pretty solid. I pushed this build to 1,000 corruption last cycle, but in this video, I'll cover the shit newbie version. Seeing as the gear you need for pushing above 1,000 corruption is unobtainable for most gamers. That is, a few hundreds of hours of gaming. So what makes this build so amazing? Well shit, it's due to Falconer being broken, obviously. We are going all in for dive bomb damage in this build while still keeping up defensives, and this is due mainly to someone at EHD accidentally adding a 0 to the dive bomb damage. The main way of scaling the dive bomb damage is from the falconry skill. This is where all the good stuff resides. For starters, we have Avian Arsenal, allowing us to throw all of our yummy damage bonuses onto our falcon. Combine this with Train to Hunt, go for the eyes, and Exposed Weakness. And you basically just flat out give all of your damage bonuses to your avian friend. Now, as you can see in the gameplay, we're rocking a dual-wield setup. This is due to Talon Knives being able to hard-scale dive bomb further, allowing us to deal more damage than any other build setup. Alright, and what about the skills? Well, damn, first out is Shift. This one is just absolutely bonkers, granting everything you can imagine: dodge, movement speed, invulnerability, damage, and bleed, which we can unleash via dive bomb. It's by far the best mobility skill for Falconer in my opinion, and a must as to not fucking die lol mao. Now you may see most builds running Smoke Bomb as next skill, but we're using Synchronized Strike. And what's up with that? Well shit, it does everything that Smoke Bombs does but better, where the main benefit is granting us shadows, and this skill allows us to go beyond the 3 shadow cap. And why do we want shadows in the first place? Good question, my dear friend. That's due to on wings of shadow sending out additional nukes, of course. This passive was gutted this cycle, but it's still way too strong as we're able to send out 5 of our lovely dive bomb friends to nuke the battlefield for us. For the other skills, we first have dive bomb and falconry. Dive bomb we use because, well, it's broken. And falconry? That's due to us being forced having it on our bars, so not really any other choice there. For final skill slot, however, we're going with Explosive Trap. This one is mainly used to buff our falcon friend, as well as granting us defensives. On top of that, it's extremely easy to turn this into a 0 mana cost spell, which we can in turn make us grant mana. And why would we do that? Well, if you didn't know, Synchronized Strike costs a shit ton of mana, pretty much forcing us to grab it if we want to keep spamming Big Damn. Alright, so that's a bit about the basics and skills. Let's check out my gear. so you get a clue about what the hell you're looking for as you're blasting monoliths. And again, this is the shit gear version. My goated king gear is right here. Watch it and weep, my friends. Anyhow, for helmet you want to grab a peak of the mountain, but only if you got one with LP, so you can slam health or dive bomb damage. This is due to the massive crit chance it provides. If you have this along with crit chance on your weapons, you should be able to get close to capped out crit. And if you don't have any LP, then you grab a falconry helmet such as this one. For amulet, Death Rattle is goated as fuck for big damn. For weapons, grab RX bones and try to slam some crit chance. For the other sword, it doesn't hecking matter, but you need to know that we're able to give our friendly falcon 60% of our weapon stats when dual wielding for the big dive bomb nukes. And it has a melee tag, so prio that. Now for the rest of the gear, health is the main priority, followed by getting ourselves endurance and resistance capped. For the chest, however, dive bomb ranks is the most goated of stats. We also try to gain as much minion damage as possible, seeing as it's the biggest additive multiplier available, and dexterity seeing as we have a passive that boosts our falcon damage via dex. Now for the rings, you're looking to grab one throwing attack mana cost reduction. And why is that? Well, shit, because then we can get the mana cost of explosive trap to 0, and we have a node that lets us gain both health and mana when using 0 mana cost skills, and that allows us to spam abilities with ease. For the gloves and relic, the same priority as before. Now for the sneakers, I'm rocking Foot of the Mountain. This is due to us being immortal as we're zooming through monoliths, but we're fucked as we stand still. This one helps us with that, however, allowing for a fuck bunch of endurance threshold whenever we need to stand still and take a rest. Alright, so that's the gear. For the idols, it's extremely simple. Just grab health everywhere. And why don't I have it everywhere? Well, shit, because this character is COF, and if you're COF, then farming items is annoying as hell. Heading into the Appearance tab, just grab something that isn't default because you're uglier than Blizzard's monetization politics then. Onto the blessings we go. Void resistance is one of the most important resistances, so I'm grabbing that shit here. Ideally, you would grab crit multiplier here though, and for the last blessings, we're rocking minion damage, armor, and some lightning rares. Well shit, son, what time is it? Hell yeah, it's skill tree or fucking clock, and you know it, baby. Instead of jerking off at my amazing skill tree for 20 minutes, however, I'll show you the things you need to know for playing the build. And then you can just slap on the other skills, seeing as they're just damage multipliers, etc. So in the explosive trap tree, we're transforming it into lightning and cold. This is due to the trapper node, throwing out more explosive traps. And why do we want more traps? Well, damn, due to sky signal. This is the main reason of using explosive trap, allowing us to buff the falcon like crazy. This one was uncapped previously, allowing for some nasty interactions. The last important node here is smoke traps. By spamming some explosive traps, we gain dusk shrouds and glancing blows for more defensives. And what does this mean? Well, you want to throw out some explosive traps before you jump into combat like an idiot. Or else you'll hecking die, Umao. Next up is Synchronized Strike. This one is just amazing. For starters, it allows us to gain additional shadows, which our big boy nuke ability utilizes. It allows us to gain a bunch of bleeds, which we can also use for our big boy nukers and damage reduction. And if that wasn't enough, it also gives us crit. Yummers. For the falconry skill, this is all about boosting our falcon damage. The first way to scale it is via Falconer's Mark and Avian Arsenal, granting our friend damage when we hit stuff. We also have a bunch of nodes here that just flats out buffs our falcon damage, but the most important ones to know about are these. Trained to Hunt, go for the eyes and exposed weakness. Train to hunt grants our friend damage from our highest scaler, meaning you only want to focus on one of these. Go for the eyes, and exposed weakness, however, is just a flat crit bonus. The final important node here is Bird of Prey. When an enemy has 16% health, you press that falconry button real good and the bastard dies. So don't waste it when the enemy is low, my man. Alright, and next up is Shift. This one grants us a slight damage buff, but the most important nodes are down here. By shifting, you gain invulnerability and a buttload of dodge rating afterwards, meaning you're basically immortal when shifting, which is the main reason we use it. We're also grabbing the shadow node here, allowing us to gain an additional shadow when zooming. And finally, the big boy Dive Bomber. Here we have a buttload of important nodes. First out is Exsanguinating Strike. By stacking up some bleeds, our Falcon buddy is granted 30% big damn bonus, and that's massive. The other two nodes that are important to know about are Talon Knives and On Wings of Shadow. Now this one sends out a bunch of additional falcons on our shadows for big damn. Unfortunately, this one got absolutely gutted, but it's still bonkers. The shadows are from Synchronized Strike, meaning you want to use it before you dive bomb an elite or whatever. The other important one, Talon Knives, means our buddy takes all of our yummy weapon stats for himself. And that's pretty lovely. Well, shit. Let's blast through the important passives as well, and then it's time to get hecking good. To be able to dual wield, we need Twin Blade in the Rogue Tree. Evasion right here is also insanely broken, grabbing us a buttload of damage reduction and dodge as we're zooming. We also have Sapping Strikes here. To utilize this, you need throwing cost reduction on a ring. If you don't have that, then you can't spam Synchronized Strike because that shit's expensive as hell. In the Blade Dancer tree, all we get is some dex and shadow damage along with healing. This one's important though, seeing as we can gain nearly 500 life every time we use Synchronized Strike, helping us survive with ease. Marksmanship is boring as fudge, so let's check out our Falcon instead. The passive right here is the reason we want a buttload of dex, seeing as it buffs our Falcon. Now, all the starter nodes here are just to buff our damage along with granting us some defensives and glancing blows. We then get to Relentless Talons. This one's important as hell. Whenever we are low, we can simply use falconry to heal us up again with ease, seeing as that thing hits extremely fast. Stymphalian Feathers is also an important node, granting us armor the more dex we have. And you may start to see why dex is such an important stat for the Falcon. And for final important node, we have Finesse Them. This one helps us out with the crit avoidance, meaning we want to stack crit avoidance to 100%. This, along with the crit avoidance blessing, gets us over to Edge, allowing us to ignore that shit on our gear. Well, damn, you still here? You goddamn legend. Drop a sub, will ya? And let's check out how to get hecking good. The basics are insanely simple. You shift, throw explosive traps, and dive bomb as frequently as possible. The same goes for falconry. When you get to an elite or boss, however, you want to stop being an idiot for just one moment. This is where you use your Synchronized Strike, followed by a big boy dive bomb. This allows you to utilize all of those yummy shadows that you spawned. And if you use falconry before you dive bomb as well, then oh man, are you going to blast, seeing as this shreds armor on the enemy. If you're fighting a boss, however, then all you need to do is repeat this over and over until the boss is at 16%. That's when you press that falconry button real good, and it shall die with ease. Alright, that's all for this one. See you in the next one, friends.